lovely welcome to Inside the Real Estate, your window into people, policies, investments, and innovations shaping Nigeria's built sector. From housing and land ownership to property development, infrastructure, and investment, we bring you the ideas and conversations driving the future of real estate in Nigeria today. On today's edition, we explore an innovative approach to land ownership, the 1 square meter initiative. A concept designed to make real estate participation more accessible by allowing individuals to start their property journey 1 square meter at a time. I am Kelechi Anure, and this is Inside the Real Estate and Housing TV Africa. Graced in the studio with me is the CEO, Leisure Cut, Dr. Segun Abolaji. It's a pleasure having you with me, sir.
Thank you for having me.
So, how are you doing today?
Yeah, I'm doing great.
Yeah, you look great. With this initiative, by the end of the program, I know we'll get to learn more. But with this initiative, it's safe to say you are really doing great.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. So, when I host real estate CEOs and stakeholders in the housing sector, I love beginning with this question. From your perspective, how do you view the housing sector in Nigeria?
Well, the housing sector in Nigeria, I can say, over the years has continued to, grow, improve, and I think we're doing a lot better than, the year past. A lot of improvements, the financing, the mortgage system, everything is improving. Before now, a lot of things were not in place. But I think we're doing better. We can still do much more, though.
Yeah, we can still do much more. There's always room for improvement. Now, today we are here on Housing TV Africa to discuss the 1 square meter initiative. Interestingly, what inspired this initiative and what problem in Nigeria's real estate market are you trying to solve?
Thank you so much. When you talk about real estate, a common man on the street thinks that it's only those who have deep pockets that can afford real estate, and that we're trying to bridge that gap. We're trying to bring it closer to the common man on the street. The slogan says real estate made easy for all. That means everyone can participate. If you've heard of land banking, land banking is one way that a lot of people can participate, but it has its own flaws. Yeah. In the past, you find out people will say, "Oh, come and buy in this developing area or somewhere that is very far that you cannot even access." And then the land banking itself, the purpose had been defeated. Most times people don't end up getting value for their money. So when you buy a land in the bush, for example, and 10 years after or 15 years after, it has added no value. So of what use is it? Now, what we are doing, with 1 square meter initiative is you are buying, in bits. You're buying real estate in bits. It means you buy what you can afford and hold it. So the 1 square, okay, for example, if you're buying 1,000 square meter anywhere, there's a unit price for 1 square meter.
Yeah.
It means if the price is 1 million naira divided by 1,000 will give you the cost of 1 square meter. So we say people can buy as low as 5 square meters. If you buy 5 square meter, unlike the conventional land banking, where you have to buy, they can even give you payment plan. So with a lot of conditions, like, if you can't meet up, you lose your initial deposit and all that. No, you're not losing anything here. If you can afford 5 square meter, you buy that 5 square meter and hold it. So it means that once you pay the first deposit, you already have your allocation letter for that little portion that you have keyed into. Going forward, if you have more money, maybe next month you can still buy another 5 square meter, you can buy 10, you can buy 15. If it adds up to 150 square meter, which is the minimum that you can build, then you are good to go. You take possession of your land and build it. If you can't, the value would have increased over time. It means that you can now sell back to the company at the prevailing market rate, the prevailing value at the point you want to sell. So minimum of 6 months, then you can dispose of if you can't continue. So that's the initiative. It means that you hold what you buy. It's not in the bush. You have a land that has a good title, CFO, not a title that you say, okay, you go and meet somebody, CFO title. That's what we said.
Interesting. It's a very interesting initiative, the 1 square meter model. Now, there's been a far cry with the rising housing deficit in the country. Some say 20 million, some say 28 million. But the point is, it's in millions. The housing deficit in the country is in millions. And then there's this loud cry from Nigerians about the high cost of things, the affordability, leading to the access problems in the country. Now, how does this model make property ownership more accessible to low and middle income earners in Nigeria?
Okay, it's very affordable. As cheap as 55,000 per square meter. So if you are buying 5 square meter, for example, that's 275,000. So you hold your title already for 5 square meter at 275,000. So we do it in multiples of 5. It means you can buy 5, 10, 15, 20, and above. So, I mean, anybody who is buying a CFO title, buying a portion of a CFO land for 275,000, I mean, that is
deal.
Yes, even though affordability, like I usually say, is relative.
Yeah.
But this is, I can say this is
It's universal.
It's universal. This one, it cuts across board, so everyone can afford it.
Yeah.
It's real estate made easy for all.
That's, as I said, it's universal. Affordability is relative because during my course of getting to interact with some housing sector stakeholders, they explained to me why you see that some real estate firms tend to hike their prices because of the amount put in to acquire the land. So obviously it's a business. Real estate is a business and it's geared towards profit. So you don't expect a real estate developer to obtain a land for 70 million and come and sell it to you low. They definitely. So now with this initiative, it is really universal and it cuts across both every sector, not just the bourgeois, the low income earners to earn from it, and that's very interesting. Now, speaking on the acquisition of the land. What happens to someone who starts with 1 square meter but cannot immediately afford to acquire more? Yes, I know you mentioned something about it when you started, but I'll need you to demystify and shed more light on it. Does their investment remain secure and valuable?
Okay, if you buy, the minimum you can get is 5 square meters. So if you buy 5 square meter at 55,000 today, and in 6 months, the minimum duration that you can, within which you can dispose is 6 months. So after 6 months, you can dispose. If at 6 months, in 6 months' time, is now worth 70,000 per square meter or 80,000 per square meter, you sell back to the company if you can't continue. So it's more like getting the value, today's value of your property. So we're not buying it back from you at the 55,000 that you bought it. We're buying it at the present.
It definitely
rate.
Land appreciates.
I mean, your ROI is, it's good. And the good thing about the site is that infrastructure is ongoing. It keeps rising. So it's not a place like the usual or conventional land banking that you cannot access. All our sites are accessible, and there are places where you can see real value for your money.
That's interesting. At least the fact you said if someone wants to sell it back to you, the person sells it at the present price, and it's a universal knowledge that land appreciates. Most parents, when they are advising their young ones, they be like, if you get any careless money, invest in land, because definitely what you get from tomorrow is bigger than what you get today. And that's an interesting one. The fact that the return of investment is secure and the value even increases more. Now, moving on, do you have provision for someone that wants to develop immediately?
Yes, we do. If you want to develop immediately, you buy a minimum of 150 square meters. That's the minimum that you can develop immediately. So if you can sum up your money and it's up to 150 square meters, we have 200 square meters, we have 300, we have 400, we have 500. You can develop immediately. It's a site that is developable and livable.
That's very interesting. It's been an insightful one with you. But now I would love us to go on a very short break. After that, we'll continue with our discussion right here on Inside the Real Estate with the CEO, Leisure Court, Dr. Segun Abolaji. We'll be back.
I highlighted what we're doing to make sure that unhoused Nigerians get houses.
Having a roof over your head is not a privilege, it's a right.
This is the 20th anniversary. As you can see, the conversations are getting deeper, the connections are getting stronger, and the opportunities are open for everyone seated in this room.
Happy 20th anniversary!
IS 2026 has been amazing so far.
I think this is the largest platform in Africa. That's a fact. And I mean, that's the reason why a lot of people keep coming year after year after year, because they deliver value. And I think, again, kudos to them for doing this for 20 years. Congratulations.
Welcome back. For those just joining us, it is Inside the Real Estate on Housing TV Africa, and I'm with the CEO Leisure Court, Dr. Segun Abolaji, where we've been talking about this wonderful initiative that is going to help or is helping shape the real estate sector in Nigeria. Speaking of the 1 square meter initiative, universally, it is affordable. Why did I say universally? Because we can say affordability is relative, but this time around, every single Nigerian stands a chance to become a landowner and a homeowner through this initiative, thanks to Leisure Court. Now, moving on to our discussion. Now, you've told us how this works. You've told us the reason behind it. What if I want to key into this wonderful initiative? What are the processes? What processes do I go through to know that, okay, I'm in the right places? Because, there could be a whole lot of problems. There could be people that might come to doppelganger. Let me use that word, doppelganger, to double it. This might not be the real, but what process do I go through to know that, okay, this is the real Leisure Court and I'm on the right track?
Okay, thank you so much. The process is very simple. You can just go to our website, leisurecourt.ng, or you go to 1squaremeter.leisurecourt.ng. The moment you click on it, it takes you to where you can create your profile. So it's you can do a self-service. You don't have to come to the office, or some people will say, "Oh, I don't have the time to come to the office. I'm very busy, or I'm not even in Abuja and all that." So go to 1squaremeter.leisurecourt.ng, and then you create your profile. It takes you to your email. You do your email verification to avoid fraud or double registration. Then afterwards, it takes you to where you choose. Are you choosing from Lagos or Abuja? We have sites in Lagos and Abuja. Then once you click, you go to how many square meter are you buying. If you click on 5 or 10, it tells you how much you're paying. You create your profile. You go to payment. So you can pay there with your card, or you do a transfer. Once the money is confirmed, the system confirms it. And then as soon as you complete the process, you get your allocation letter instantly. It's not like, deposit. You're not making deposit. You are buying that particular portion that you have paid for immediately. And it gives you your certificate of allocation immediately. Then furthermore, you can now, if you have time, you can come to the office for legal documentation and all that. So it's a very simple way of acquisition. You don't have to stress at all.
it's looking at the way you have embraced tech. You know, it's a digital world, and you have really embraced tech. The fact that I can stay at the comforts of my home and become a landowner and become a homeowner.
Just like you are booking your flights.
Yes, exactly. It's really seamless. It's as simple as this has really made a whole lot of things easy. Now, looking at the land investment in Nigeria and the whole documentation problem. Yes, I know you've stated the document you receive. It's you said COO,
the certificate of occupancy.
The certificate of occupancy. What safeguards have you put in place to protect these buyers under the initiative?
The first thing you have to consider when you're buying any property is the title. And this title is CFO. There's no higher title than that in the land. So that is secure. I don't see anything that can shake that title. Some people will say, "Oh, I'm afraid. I hope they will not revoke it." They don't revoke CFO titles. They only revoke titles that are not. I don't know how to put it, but those are not. When they say they revoke a land, it's a land that have issues, maybe with documentation. This one has gotten to the peak of documentation, so it's secure, and your investment is 100%. It's not. You don't have to do any back and forth. Yeah. It's 100% secure.
You heard that. This land is 100% secure. You don't need to be scared that you get to purchase a land and probably you sleep and wake up and the land has been revoked. The land under this beautiful initiative, the 1 square meter initiative, is secure.
And furthermore, there's something I didn't mention. We are going to, for the purpose of this, we are going to upload the legal search report of the documents. We're going to upload it on the website, so anybody that wants to buy can click and see the legal search report of this document, saying that there's no encumbrance of any form, there's no legal tussle, there's no form of dispute or illegality on the land. So
this screams transparency, and transparency is one thing that upholds the integrity of any business, of any initiative. And I must commend you for that. I must commend you first for this initiative, and now you are transparent 100%, saying you would upload this document on the website. Everybody can see it and know that you're on the right track and all. Thank you so much for this initiative. Now, before we wrap up, we spoke about the housing deficits and how can this 1 square meter initiative become a model for tackling Nigerians' housing issue and home ownership challenges?
Well, over the years, the issue of affordability and inaccessibility to homes has been a major challenge in Nigeria, and that's why we're coming up with an initiative like this. I want to believe over time, more people will be able to key into the real estate sector, by buying in bits. Once you continue to buy, sometimes these monies they look small, but at the same time, you keep spending. You have 275,000 today. You just spend it on one unnecessary thing or the other. You have 500,000 tomorrow. Some people they've never thought of it that such a meager amount can get you something. So this is we're trying to open the eyes of people to see that this initiative is all inclusive and everybody can participate. So this is our own bit. In time to come, we'll still come up with some other initiative that will either help this one or create another avenue for us to have better housing systems in Nigeria. Even though the government has a lot to do, government has to create systems. Government have to create initiatives that helps people to access real estate easily, because we still have a lot of deficit in Nigeria.
Yes, speaking of that, you just scratched me somewhere. You mentioned the government. Do you think the government, in a way, inhibits the private sector when it comes to the real estate sense in Nigeria? Since you just mentioned government has to do it, but the government can't really do it alone. I'm speaking of tackling the housing deficit issue. It has to be a communal or together movement, the government and the private sector. But obviously, the government will be the one to lead the way. What do you have to say? Are there things the government can do better to assist the private sector so that together there can be this synergy in curbing this housing deficit issue in Nigeria?
Oh, thank you so much. See, the government has a major role to play. We as coming from the private sector, we have our own role to play, but government is the regulator.
True.
Government holds, the power. They can create systems, they can create policies that makes it easier. If government today, for example, if the process of acquisition of land is made simpler, then more people will be able to afford it. If the process makes it cheaper, more people will be able to afford it. If the mortgage system works better, more people will be able to access mortgage. In the past, only the civil servant, public servant could have accessed mortgage. Like I said, government has done a lot on their own part. Nowadays, even private companies can also access. They've created MREIF, they've created all sort of programs, but we need to keep creating. We need to keep innovating. We need to keep doing better. Without the intervention of the government, the private sector can only run on what is available.
True.
If the land is expensive, building material is expensive, definitely you're going to get high.
True.
The cost of getting a house is going to be expensive. Or if government regulates or subsidize the price of building materials, for example, as of today, cement is about 12,500. If cement is 6,000 or 7,000, you can imagine the effect it will have on housing. So same goes with land and all the other processes, the cost of CO4 and everything. So governments have a major role to play. So, like I said, they just need to do better.
Thank you so much. As you said, the government, they play a major role. If the cost of building materials are expensive, so will be the cost of purchasing the houses and all. Thank you so much. It's been a very insightful session. But on the very final note, I promise this is going to be the last question. I know I've been saying it on the very final note, but this is going to be the last question. With an initiative like this, it's it's going to be like tempting when you take one bite of the food or one bite of the cherry. If the cherry is sweet, you definitely go for another one and another one. With this initiative, what should Nigerians expect from a leisure cut in the next few years? Are we going to see more of this? As you said, there might be something that would help this, or there might be something creating better opportunities on its own. But just speak more on that. What should we expect from leisure cut?
Well, in a few years to come, I want to assure you that we'll do even better. We'll create more initiatives, we'll create more systems that can help the common masses. Because what we are really after is for everybody to be able to afford to get into real estate. We want to make it as simple as ABC. We want to make sure, a vulcanizer on the street, the mechanic, the carpenter, everybody can get, something in real estate. You don't need deep pockets to be in real estate. So expect more from us.
Thank you so much. Expect more from Leisure Cut. We've been in the house speaking on the 1 square meter initiative that presents a different approach. An approach that gears and moves forward to break that problem of accessibility and affordability. Thank you so much, sir. I've been in the studio with the CEO of Leisure Cut, Dr. Segun Abolaji. Sir, it's been a pleasure having you and hosting you on today's program.
My pleasure.
And probably I'll speak to my secretary to come discuss with you.
No problem. You're always welcome.
All right, thank you so much, sir. This is where we draw the curtains on Inside the Real Estate here on Housing TV Africa. I am Kelechi, and a rate will come your way. Keep watching Housing TV Africa.